Good morning, everyone. My name is Gilad, and I am thrilled to be with all of you today. We have seen so many great examples of artificial intelligence so far today, and have heard from some incredible innovators. But before we conclude the tech section of the AI Summit, I want to take a step back and to examine where we've come from, and to use that to help us think about where we may be going from here. Due to time limitations, I will not have the chance to walk through my entire talk or the full arc of the AI story. But I hope to dive just deep enough to help you frame all the great innovations and ideas you're going to hear this week. Well, let's get started. So I often like to start my AI talks with this slide. Yes, because it's witty and funny and cute, but because it makes one critical point. Products and services as we humans experience them use artificial intelligence. They are not artificial intelligence in and of themselves. All that artificial intelligence is a tool, a new type of tool for making predictions and understanding the world around us. So if you take only one thing away from my talk, let it be this. AI is just a set of tools created and used by people to accomplish their goals. It really is that simple. Now, I'm very fortunate to have had the opportunity to meet many of you, and I hope to have the opportunity to meet many more of you in the coming days. But some of you may not know my AI journey. My AI journey started a long time ago when I was a kid, and my dad was one of the first AI architects back in the mid-90s. My family moved to the United States when I was a teenager, when my dad joined an early AI startup. I started Utrip in 2011, which was one of the very first machine learning AI travel planning platforms in the world. I joined boards, given speeches, and now run a fund focused on artificial intelligence investing. So I'm quite passionate about this, and I'm really grateful that you're all here with us today. I find that today most people talk about artificial intelligence without having a substantive understanding of what it is and how it works, and thus come to the wrong or misleading conclusions about where it may take us and what we need to actually be excited for and concerned about. So I'd like to begin with the basics. What is artificial intelligence? And as you all know, AI is just computer code. AI is a type of computer software that is really good with data and patterns and guessing. That's about it. And I hope that we've all moved past headlines like these. Artificial intelligence is coming and it could wipe us out. Or, with artificial intelligence, we're summoning the demon. Or from pauses like these that come from a good place with good intentions, but are really just not feasible or possible. And from some equally uninformed individuals, we hear that AI will bring about the utopian dream we've all been waiting for. So in Hollywood movies and popular culture, AI is depicted as scary and dangerous or utopian. And I'm sure it's not a shock to any of you when I tell you that all of these predictions are wrong. To rationally discuss artificial intelligence, we have to separate the science fiction from the actual science. In reality, artificial intelligence is a part of our everyday life already, and we all use it all the time, and it's been years since AI came into our world. Now, until recently, the latest advances in artificial intelligence looked a lot like this. IBM Deep Blue beating the Grandmaster in chess, advanced speech recognition, facial recognition technology, machine translation. IBM Watson going on Jeopardy was, of course, when AI became forefront of the consciousness of the American public. And of course, those really cool Boston Dynamic robots that I hope you've had the chance to see the videos of. All of these examples and more are only achievable due to our dramatic improvement in the field of machine learning, which is just one subfield of artificial intelligence. And the dirty secret is that a huge amount of work needed for machine learning is done manually by humans still today. Machine learning requires categorization, selected by humans, metadata, usually labeled by humans, and algorithms, at least for now, written by humans. The artificial intelligence is doing the statistical last mile. Everything else is done by people. And today, when most of us think of cutting-edge artificial intelligence, we think of these guys, GPT, DALL-E, and all of their compatriots. The image on the right was created by DALL-E, GPT's sister product, about a year ago when I asked it what cutting-edge AI looked like. Now, as we all know, artificial intelligence evolves quickly, so these images were created about 3 months ago when I asked the exact same question. To many, artificial intelligence feels new and like something that just came out of nowhere. But in reality, it is actually a concept that's almost 80 years old. So I want to spend a couple minutes just taking a brief look at the history of artificial intelligence. The AI era began in the 1970s as a concept inside elite university campuses. But really, as I referenced, the real beginning of this concept, called cybernetics, was defined 30 years before in the 1940s. AI really came on the scene for real in the early 1990s as big tech and startups alike began building and prototyping AI algorithms, really focused on optimization. So that's why I call this the optimization era of artificial intelligence. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, we saw the rise of machine learning and that era of AI, when companies like Utrip and many others pioneered use cases like natural language processing, collaborative filtering, sentiment analysis, and all these various techniques that were the hottest and newest things we were using in the 2010s. And today, most people refer to this era of AI as the generative AI era, and for good reason. Most people call it the Gen AI era because of these two tools. But until these launched 14 months ago, basically everyone in the general public didn't think about AI very much. And when GPT launched, we saw massive adoption. It took Netflix almost 1,300 days to get to 1 million users. It took ChatGPT just 5. In the words of one of my favorite tech reporters, Gen AI is eating itself and the internet. Just think about the cannibalization we are seeing all around us. Google is trying to kill the little blue link that made it one of the most powerful companies in the world by introducing its chat capability in place of the traditional search and click, eliminating the search box, and with that, the pay-per-click model they built their empire on. We have seen the junkification of Amazon through reviews and imageries whose quality is quickly plunging, especially for third-party sellers. We have seen job postings looking for AI editors instead of writers that expect an output of 200 to 250 articles per week, prioritizing volume over human creativity. We have seen a huge proliferation in the creation of new websites. ChatGPT is being used to generate whole spam sites, thousands of sites never touched by a human being. Etsy's flooded with AI-generated junk. LinkedIn is using AI to stimulate tired users by creating posts and articles that it thinks you want to engage with. Yes, these are articles that no human wrote, but even more importantly, no human even directed to be written. The entire process is run by artificial intelligence. Snap has created its own chatbot, and Meta is working on AI personas. So it seems the future of social networking will increasingly be augmented by artificial intelligence. So you can talk to the bot when your friends don't want to talk to you. And AI is tearing Wikipedia apart. Its community of editors cannot agree on how to deal with AI-generated content. So, in short, the old web is dying, and a new web is struggling to be born. And startup formation is exploding. We have seen many great startups already this morning, and many more are coming later today and tomorrow. But of course, it's not just the startups that are diving in. Expedia integrated GPT into their app, but at least at first, the offering had no bookability and only pretty generic recommendations. TripAdvisor also launched a generative trip planner, and they are certainly in a great position to do so due to all the data and information they have about customer preferences. And Airbnb CEO said that by this year, the entire site will be rebuilt around AI and an AI concierge, helping you find the best rentals, dates, and more, all in natural language. But of course, by now, we know that the adoption of Gen AI was quick, but usage dropped off significantly. And we're seeing this with many startups that are having a hard time demonstrating ROI to their corporate partners and having a hard time raising subsequent rounds. And AI2, the Paul Allen Artificial Intelligence Research Institute, is predicting a slowdown in corporate spending on GPT and other types of Gen AI, searching for ROI, really trying to figure out how do you measure the impact this technology is having on your actual business. So while many people refer to this era of AI as the generative era, I think that's a bit short-sighted. I personally like to refer to the current era as the great commoditization of artificial intelligence. It seems to me that when we look back at this time in the history of artificial intelligence, we would likely have forgotten about the specific new tool, Gen AI, In the same way that most people no longer think about natural language processing or sentiment analysis, which were the most exciting tools in the 20 teens. And I think we'll all remember this era for the great commoditization, the fact that OpenAI, followed by so many other companies, made these technologies so easy to integrate and utilize. And the thing is, we entered this decade at a place where only the largest companies and top universities had access to artificial intelligence. We will finish this decade with every single business on planet Earth utilizing AI, and I really mean every single business in the world. Now, one of the most common questions I get is why now, and is this a fad? The answer at this point is clear. By now, we all know that this is not a fad for two primary reasons. First is the advances we've made in data normalization and data aggregation. But more importantly, it's the advances we made in bringing supercomputing and super speed to the cloud across the world. If you think about this, backpropagation, which is the technique used to train a generative model, is a 40-year-old technology. People have been talking about this since the 80s. And the reason it's only coming to reality today is because we have built data servers and the cloud all around the world, giving people access to supercomputing and super speed anywhere on the globe. And the thing that's exciting about this technology is it's almost all accessible through an API infrastructure layer, which means that it can be integrated quickly into almost any product or service that a company can offer. To support this whole new world, we've seen the rise of an entire technology stack that did not exist 5 years ago, all about supporting companies that are training and managing AI models. This visual on the screen right here comes from Madrona, the leading venture capital fund here in Seattle. And many new mental models are being created. I borrowed this from my friends at NFX. As you can take a look, we are beginning to think about AI startups as a 5-level spectrum, beginning with level 1, which is all about AI enhancement of the tool, going to level 2, which is AI product extensions, features or capabilities being added that are artificial intelligence based. Level 3 is really about AI-enabled products. So it's level 1 and 2, plus a central algorithm that's orchestrating all the activity happening within the product. Level 4, which is where I and many other investors start investing, is really about AI is the product. The idea that AI is the key value proposition being offered through the product or service being sold. And lastly, level 5, the place we all hope to be founders and investors, is AI first. Everything in the company is doing was not possible before the latest advances in artificial intelligence. And many are predicting, and I agree, over the next few years, we will see the golden era of AI startup formation. Think about what happened after the iPhone and the mobile revolution was launched. We saw some of the most exciting companies in the history of technology launch in the years after that. Things like WhatsApp or Uber or Snapchat. The types of technologies and businesses that literally would not have been possible before the mobile revolution. These are the type of companies we're all waiting for in the AI era. Now at this point, I would normally dive into a number of examples of artificial intelligence in the wild, but we have so many of those this week. So I just want to conclude this section by saying that artificial intelligence is just a tool used by people to accomplish their goal. And in reality, AI provides a whole bunch of different tools, and Gen AI is just one of those tools. And picking the right tool for a given problem or opportunity is a prerequisite for success. Normally from here, I would take you through an AI lesson for non-technical executives, helping those of you who are non-technical to understand AI training so that you can use that knowledge to better assess the opportunities facing your business and to position your business for success. But sadly, we do not have time for all that today. Instead, I want to give you just a small taste of some of the meta learnings we have gained over the past year. We've begun to see some of the limitations of these new large language models. We have seen answer accuracy decrease in certain use cases, especially ones where reinforcement learning is being utilized, where consumers' responses can bias the AI model and lead it astray. We've also learned about AI model decay, often caused when artificial intelligence is trained on content created by other AIs. Now, synthetic content is a growing field, and this may be a solvable problem, but as of today, it has yet to be solved. We have also learned how to address these decay. And the great news for all of us in the travel and hospitality space is that we have exactly what it needs and takes to thrive. That is real people engaging other real people in real experiences in the real time all around the world. This type of data is exactly the edge we need to fight back against AI model decay. But we can do even more. As an industry or a sector of our industry, we can create our own open source large language models. We can train our own models on the way that we do travel, on the way that we like to communicate with customers, on the various ways that we think Rome or Yellowknife or Seattle should be experienced. And to support these goals, in the near future, we will arrive at what many people are calling the Android moment of AI. Open source AI models will enable a proliferation of new models that complement and work in tandem with proprietary models. And this is really great news for both travelers and consumers, as well as small businesses that likely would never have the opportunity to train their own models in the first place. And as we all know, AI app stores are already here. This makes a huge difference and might not be great for me as an investor because it leads to many more small companies, but this is a big win for our industry. Now, as I begin to wrap up, I want to share some of the lessons we've learned from year one. First, is product and productization still matter a lot? Second, is further training of an AI model is a prerequisite for commercial success. We have seen that using the off-the-shelf models very rarely leads to actual commercial success and financial results. Model decay is real, as we just spoke about, and as I always like to remind everyone, using all the tools in your toolkits is a requirement. Large language models are too powerful and uncontrollable for certain use cases, like recommending a hotel or a cruise. A few of these lessons can easily be seen in this case study comparing Expedia and HubSpot's integration of the GPT technology into their product. I'm a big fan of Ben Thompson and the Stratechery newsletter, where he talks about jobs to be done. The basic idea is that every company has specific jobs that its customers or clients wanted to do, and other jobs that they don't want to get from that specific provider. And thinking about that is something that has led a lot of people astray in the AI era. If you look at Expedia, they integrated GPT into their platform in order to help people plan trips and find great recommendations. But historically, that is not the job consumers have asked Expedia to do. Consumers want Expedia to help them find lots of options, great prices, and to do so quickly. On the other hand, if you look at HubSpot, they integrated GPT into their core features. They released not a single new capability, but what they did is they superpowered and supercharged their existing features, the jobs consumers are already asking them to do. So instead of coming into a new feature where they have little expertise and little market demand, they are supercharging and improving the core value they already bring their consumers. When speaking with leaders outside of tech, I often hear that it's difficult to know how to make business cases for risky investments in technology. Well, there are many ways AI can help, and here are just a few. Companies are using AI to convince and sell and market. Companies are using AI for analysis and better decision making. Other companies use AI for value creation, to do brand new things they couldn't do before. Servicing and customer support has, of course, been a huge area of AI implementation, and recommendations being one of the oldest places we use artificial intelligence. Going back to our friends at HubSpot, this is the way they recommend for their customers to integrate artificial intelligence. They begin by focusing on 24/7 customer service, something that's incredibly important in our industry, instant responses, scalability, personalization, and cost efficiency. All things many of our businesses in here are thinking about now. Now, many CEOs of large companies ask me for advice, not just about implementation of AI, but how to get their organizations ready for it. And I really only have three basic things I say to them all. First is cultivate AI literacy and enthusiasm. They are both necessary for your team to be able to run with this new technology. Second is identify high-value opportunities and create a mental model around them. Empower your team to use those mental models to figure out additional ways to implement AI and to benefit from its capabilities. And of course, most importantly, is create a culture of innovation. Nothing beats a culture of innovation within a growing business. Now, a few predictions to finish us off here. And predictions are always hard, but I think some of these we're already beginning to see come to fruition and come to light. First is we have the maturation from co-pilot to agent. As we saw in year one, most of the successful AI implementations were really about creating co-pilots or assistants for professionals. And over the coming years, we'll see that mature into full autonomous agents who can act much more autonomously on their own. Next is the merging of large language models and knowledge graphs, a new infrastructure layer, which is really key to offering personalization within a large language model environment. Voice GPT and multimodal AI are use cases that we're going to see a lot of, and they're going to enable many more applications for artificial intelligence and many more use cases. Open source large language models, like we spoke about before, will come into every industry and will be much better fit than some of the very large generic language models we have used so far. And we're already seeing the rise of the Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer and other new members of executive teams that are coming to really enable the company to think about AI and to make that one of its core pillars. Two other predictions I'd like to share is one, is we're going to see what I call the office of the CEO for everyone. When you work with large companies, you often see that the CEO's office has an entire team. There's assistants, there's people working on logistics, there are writers and communicators, there are designers, there are analysts. Well, AI is going to build an office of the CEO for every single professional. Every single one of you and your employees will soon have their own AI assistant and scheduler and designer and analyst. And it's really exciting to think about how jobs in our economy can change when people have so much support to really move to higher level order thinking and work. And then, of course, as I've said for a long time, great technology will continue to be at the core of the definition of luxury. So I want to thank you all for being here today and for engaging on this important topic. And I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Thank you.